I'm here with Elisha Halpin. Thank you for being here. She is a mentor for women, helping them connect with their mind, body, soul, connect their mind, body, and soul to their heart. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
So why don't you take us back to where you were at when we first started working together? You already had your business, but where were you at in your life and your business at that point?
Yes, I actually don't feel like I did have a business.
Okay.
Right? I had been offering my program, my first group program, and I'd begun to dream of moving online. I'd begun to dream bigger, but I didn't know anything. And so I met you online randomly. I actually have no idea really how I connected to you, but somehow I landed in your group pretty early on. And it was just a great connection from the beginning. And so I just started watching and listening and was always there with one foot pointed towards the door of I'm not sure if I'm really an entrepreneur or doing this thing, and I think I've had a lot of resistance that we've worked through around just the idea of being a business owner, because I feel so much like a teacher, and all of that has been about plugging into another person's system that's allowed me to deliver my work. And I feel like a part of what it took for me to become a business was the work that we did in allowing myself to have permission to create my own structures and really and build it for myself and not have to have another platform to host. So I did not have a business when I first started, and now I do. And so I feel like what I really learned was it's okay to have a business. It's okay to do it. Yeah. Was that your question?
Yes, it was. And we'll get to all the middle stuff because there's so much middle, but let's just jump straight to the end. What is your business and life like now?
Now I have kind of two components to my business. I'm working in live form and at a center, and just having the confidence to be able to walk into a wellness center as me, as and say, I belong here, and I would like to, have you offer my workshops, and they said yes. And then I also have my online component where I run a group program. I've got my Facebook group, and I do a lot of one-on-one work now. And so I've kind of been building simultaneously. I love both worlds, and I'm really committed though to a global reach. And so I find the virtual work to be really important in continuing to grow. I live in a very small area, and I want to be able to have a larger impact. Yeah.
Totally. I feel like you've done magnificent at expanding locally and expanding globally. What has that really looked like for you?
It's been kind of seamless. I think that part of the reason I originally felt like, well, I need to go global was that I didn't know if I had a lot of stories about whether my work would resonate in such a small area. And I was able to capitalize on my friend circle for my first group program, and that went really well. But there became a lot of stories of well, why would people keep signing up for this? And you need to find more clients and a lot of things. And I've worked through a lot of those stories. And so I think that as I went into the global market and began to really build virtually, it just allowed a lot of the stories that would keep me from being able to be locally viable and continuing to create and land in a localized way just to disappear. And so then all of a sudden, as I'm focused on building globally, people are coming to my door and going, can you do this thing? Or I heard you did this, and all of these things. So it was really beautiful that it was a confirmation that when we get out of our own way, we find so many ways to plug in with people and connect. And I really think that because I remember when we started working on my client map, we made connection the most important thing. And so at each level, really checking in on what is the connection from the heart with the client, with the potential client, with the pre-client. And because of that, I feel like I've always got connections, places that people can connect with me, out. And so people are finding them, and it's been really beautiful to see that when we just trust ourselves to do what is natural in us, the work will grow.
Yes. And I feel like you've done magnificently at that. We were joking in the last interview, right? That you are someone that in your life, you have worked very hard to get to a space where you are very aligned and grounded. So what does it look like to bring that sense of groundedness and self-trust into your business and into those strategies?
Yeah, it's looked like letting go of what all of the blueprints or like 10 steps to this, or I can give you 3 strategies to do the thing have been. And that's one of the reasons why I love working with you, because all of your blueprints, strategies, and tips are actually the ways that you trick people into just going back to themselves.
You're not supposed to tell them that. Yeah.
So what I love is that it's been all about come back to your own center, come back to your own line, and not do the external just to do it. And I remember me saying something when I was trying to figure out how to start a group online program, and I was like, I don't understand this. I can't remember exactly what the technical glitch was. And you're like, let me just tell you what I did. I created a 1-page PDF with the PayPal me link. And it was like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do the thing. I can just do me. I don't want to do that thing. I want to teach the program. That's what I want to do. And so I just need the easiest, most cleanest way for someone to get into my program. And I think that always, because the way we've worked to come back to the streamline, come back to the truth of what it really is. I mean, I guess it's great if what you want to create is, a glitzy, glammy kind of thing. But what I really want to do is connect with people and get them into the work. And while I love, sparkles and glamour, it's not about that for me. And I really have appreciated the continual return to self. Find your way, your lane, do you, and really making it about the connection. And I think that's one reason why I resonated so much with your work, because it was about you connecting with the person, and not just giving tips to make yourself be smarter or look smarter or, all of those things. That it's really about the service, the heart-based service of it.
Powerful. Now that you were working with women inside, the Radiant Tribe, the Radiant Temple, specifically in that paid membership container, what's been your favorite part of that?
The realizing that the growth doesn't stop just because you get the program off the ground, up and running.
You're like, dang it.
Right? It's like I knew that, but then there was also this way that I was like, okay, well, I can maybe rest for a little bit. And just sort of realizing that when you begin this entrepreneurial journey, like one of the reasons I think that many of us are drawn to it is because we are lifelong learners. Yeah. We really want to continue to grow and evolve ourselves. And this literally is like the graduate, like this is the PhD of life school that we're in, right? If you're on an entrepreneurial journey. And so just remembering that it's like, oh, I did this amazing thing. And I love, you're always pushing me to celebrate more and to really own, those moments. And so remembering that, and then allowing myself to let go and go, what's it going to teach me? And what's the next round going to be? Because I think that when we lock and root into things having to stay the same, it gets really hard to hold it. For me, at least, it does. And so when I can remember that it's all just flow, right? Like some days I'm going to maybe love what I created, and some days I'm not. And some days it's going to feel really great, and some days I might be like, well, that's a little wonky. Just allowing it to be part of real life, allowing all my emotions to be involved in it, not feeling like, oh, just because I have this program, I'm supposed to love it 24/7 and nobody's ever gonna, ask a question that I'm like, why are they asking that question? Like right? Just letting it be really real and really just more learning and more growing for everyone. And the feedback that I get from my ladies in the temple and my tribe is, you're so real, right? And what they mean by that is like, I'm not pretending that there's something different than life. Like it's all about really when you really commit to coming from the heart, you commit to all of the messiness that would be part of that, including, holding authentically your group and saying, this is a sticky place for me. And this is what we're going to do to navigate through the stickiness together. And I really have taken all of my leadership skills from my academic life and been able to bring them right into the business world and not feeling like that, my 20-year career as an academic wasn't useful, right? And it's been a beautiful training ground to begin to be a business owner.
Absolutely. I think you articulated that shift of being a business owner so well, right? Like it is such a foreign shift of, okay, yes, I'm a powerful, productive woman and, but what does it look like to do that for myself, right? And to sell myself, sell my services. And what do you feel like was, I don't know, what helped most in making that shift of being able to show up online and sell what you do?
Exactly what you said around selling yourself. When I realized I wasn't selling a thing, right? Because there was there was this place of like disconnect in my system where I was like, I don't understand what I'm trying to, I know I want people to buy the program, but it's not really a program, right? And so there was this place where I had pulled myself out of it. And when I really realized what I want them to do, what I'm selling is their connection to me. And then that invites them into the work. Wow. But I have to be there 110% because they need my hand to hold, right? In that moment when they're going like, is there more to life than this? And I don't want to be this depleted and I don't know how to step out of this self-loathing. It's my hand that's there to say like, sister, you can do this. Like, let's go step by step and let's begin with breath. And if I'm sort of like back here going like, oh no, I'm selling you a program. No, I'm not. What I'm selling you is my ability to hold your hand and go, let's try this together. And so when I really started bringing myself to it and realizing it's my talent, it's my superpower, it's my gifts that make it important that I'm doing this work and why it's not just about, what 1,000 other coaches or healers or teachers are doing. Why it's important that it's me is because it's me. And I've got to bring that to the table and be really able to say, yes, what I have, what the talent that was given to me is important and I'm sharing it.
Yes. I have 2 more questions, but I feel like we just need to end there, right? Because that's such an important reminder at each step in our journey is ignoring what else is everything else that's going on, right? And just being able to show up and be like, this person, it's me, and we're here to get to work.
Yeah. Yes.
What when you think through our season together, what do you feel like, if anything, were like the biggest breakthrough moments for you or turning points?
Definitely around the selling piece of remembering, and I can't remember exactly how you walked me. Again, like I think your genius, your superpower is that the way you lead, it's like just so smooth and that you walk into these deep conversations, but it feels just like, oh, we're chatting about this thing and then bam, we're in. And so it was one of those moments about bam, we're in, where you had walked me in. So I was talking about a lot of BS around selling, right? And you walked me right into the nugget of it, which was I wanted to stay disconnected from that process. I didn't want to put myself in there. So that was huge for me. And you did it so smoothly. And it really was that light bulb moment of realizing that like, it's my talent. And if I don't share it, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to with it. And to really make that be at the forefront. I think the other things that I really gained from our season together were not making things harder than they need to be. So not putting the cart before the horse and saying like, what is my true goal here? Is my true goal to have a perfect website and to have really pretty handouts? Or is my goal to engage with people and get them to hear my message? And continuing to bring me back to the strategies that focused on what my real goal was so that I didn't get shiny object syndrome or redirecting me when I did get shiny object syndrome back into what's the real goal. And so I feel like because of that, and now I feel like I'm going into a new season where it's like, okay, yes, let's get a little bit of cart going, but before it was like, no, let's get this horse running with a lot of power. And And because of that, I feel like I was able to stay simple. I was able to really focus on what it looks like for me. And so now I feel like I have a business that is my personality that I really love, that's not hard. And I feel like there was a point, last winter where I was making it really hard and I thought it had to look like something that I couldn't have even determined, because that's where perfectionist is, right? Like it's that undefined thing. And, so I feel like you are like the perfectionist whisperer and, like talking off the ledge of like, that's not the real thing and don't get stuck there. Yeah.
Good. Was there anything that was surprising to you about our work together?
Definitely. I think that, again, I was maybe cognitively aware of the amount of personal journey building a business would be, but I didn't really understand in my heart, like the whole changes that I would go through because of the purpose. And so I think the biggest surprise was the way that it enlivened me and invigorated me to go deeper into my own process and my own work and let all of the business strategies unfold from there versus being told some strategies that I should layer onto myself. Yeah. And so it was the most perfect surprise and exactly what I've needed. And I think that I have a lot of growth to continue, and I wouldn't have the confidence to know that I am on my own path if I hadn't been led deeper into myself. And so I really appreciate all of the mindset work, all of the questions around my fears that we worked on, really looking deeper at what kept me from my own process, or where I would, get little snags and hang-ups around wanting it to look like somebody else's work or those kind of things. So I think the surprise was the amount of personal journey that it was.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I agree. It still surprises me in the journey how much it's like, oh yeah, this is about like I'm in my own way again. There we go. Right. Elisha, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I appreciate it. And if anyone's watching this and they are resonating with you and your spirit and just who you are, like you're just in a good way, a contagious person, right? And they want to connect with you more, where can they find you and connect with you online?
Yeah, ElishaHelpin.com is my website. And then you can also find me on Facebook at The Dancing Pilgrims or The Radiant Tribe. And then I'm falling in love with Instagram. So The Heroine's Mystical Journey is my Instagram handle. So I think it's called a handle, or is that just Twitter?
I'm not an Instagram.
I tried to do the lingo and then I actually don't know the lingo.
It's okay. It sounded good to me. The handle.
Right? I can call it a handle.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Thank you so much.